Hello, Pirates. It is Tuesday, and I hope you're having a great day. What we're going to do today is some coloring. And if some of you are wondering, what in the world should I be doing with my Organelle flashcards? With the flashcards you made yesterday, you guys just want to put them on page 21. So see if you guys can find like an old envelope laying around the house, and you can put your flashcards right into your envelope. So for example, the cell membrane, it controls what enters and exits the cell. Boom. What is an organelle? It's a tiny organ with a specific function in the cell. So example, things like nucleus, the ribosome, and all the things you made flashcards for. So that is page 21, understanding your organelles. And then we're going to fast forward today to page 23. And on page 23 is where you guys are going to, anchor your cell coloring. So this is going to go on page 23. And don't worry, we'll put some things on page 20 and 21 tomorrow on Wednesday. So when you guys are looking at the cell, we're just going to kind of go through and color the different structures. The first structure is DNA. And DNA, you want to color it in. It says dark pink. And all cells have DNA. So when we look at our bacteria, the bacteria has a DNA strand. The animal cell has DNA, and so does the plant. So they all have DNA. The plasma membrane, it says to color orange. So when we're looking at the plasma membrane, this is going to be the inner layer of the bacteria cell. So here I've got the inner layer of the bacteria cell, the whole outer layer of the animal cell. And you guys might color these way more lovely than I. Need to figure out how to make a video and fast forward this. So this is all the plasma membrane separating the inside of the cell from the outside of the cell and controlling what enters and exits the cell. So here we've got the plasma membrane on the animal cell. So it's the outer section. And then in the plant cell, it's just going to be the inner layer. So it's the very inner layer of the plant cell. So this very inner layer is the cell membrane. It rests just inside of the cell wall. So the cell wall is on the outside, giving it structure, and the membrane is just inside, controlling what enters and exits. So we've got the cell membrane just on the inside. The ribosomes are brown. So all cells have DNA, all cells have a plasma membrane, and all cells have ribosomes. All these little dots in the bacteria are ribosomes. And they make proteins. So little dots here, ribosomes, little dots in the plant, ribosomes. The cell wall, you want to color a light green, and the cell wall is going to give the plant some cells some structure, and it's just going to be the whole outside. I don't know if I like this green. I like this one better. So the whole outer edge here is going to be the cell wall on the plant. So here we have the cell wall, giving it structure. And you can think like a tree, it doesn't have a skeleton. The cell wall is just very strong. Made of very strong cellulose. All right. Animal cells don't have a cell wall. You guys have skeleton instead, but the bacteria does have a cell wall, and it's going to be different than different kind of cell wall, different structure overall than the plant, but it's going to have the same function. It's going to give structure to the bacteria. All right, the mitochondria, these guys are a membrane-bound organelle. So they are only going to be found inside eukaryotic cells. So here we have a mighty mitochondria. And I remember they look like they have these little zigzag M's on them for, I broke my colored pencil, for mighty mitochondria. So mighty mitochondria right here. And there's another one right over here. So here's my mighty Mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. This is going to provide the cell with a usable energy. And the zigzags they're not really M's, but I add M's on them so I can remember exactly what they are. So here we've got mitochondria in the plant cell. There's a whole bunch of them over here. So just like animal cells need energy, so do plant cells. So mitochondrias. All right. The nuclear membrane is going to be the outside of the nucleus. So we've got a nuclear membrane. Here's the nucleus. Here's the outside of the nucleus on the animal cell. And then we have a nuclear membrane on the plant cell as well. And this one's just a little bit more two-dimensional. The nucleus itself, we're just going to color a light purple. So a light purple color for the nucleus. So the nucleus is going to be like the inside and the whole structure. Here's the nucleus, the inside and the outside. The nucleolus is going to be the center of that nucleus. And it's set to color that black. So here we have the nucleolus. And that's going to make those ribosomes that make the proteins. So here we have the black. Here we have that light purple. Where did I put that colored pencil? There it is. It's a little bit lighter. The endoplasmic reticulum is going to be light pink. So all this coming out here is the endoplasmic reticulum. And you guys can see there is both a smooth and a rough endoplasmic reticulum. So some part of it is smooth. So this part right here is the smooth ER, and it's going to produce lipids. And over here, the endoplasmic reticulum is rough endoplasmic reticulum. And what it has on it, it has bumps. And those bumps on there are those ribosomes. So all these little bumps on here, these are little ribosomes making protein. So little protein making factories. So it's bumpy. The Golgi apparatus is going to be part of packaging and delivery. So the Golgi looks kind of like macaroni noodles. They've kind of got like this kind of shape, like a macaroni. Say this is a red-orange, but it looks a little red. And you can see the little packages being shipped out, these little circles here on the outside of it. So there's the Golgi there, and here's the Golgi over here. I think they're trying to make this be Golgi in this image. So we've got the Golgi apparatus. The cytoplasm is going to be what takes up the inside space in the cell. So all that inside space is going to be cytoplasm. And that is the gelatinous fluid that's mostly water, but then it has a lot of different substances, everything dissolved in the water mixed in. So here we have lots of cytoplasm. And that reminds me, look at, I missed the endoplasmic reticulum over here. So here's the smooth ER, and over here is the rough ER. And you can see that it's got all these little bumps on it. All those little ribosomes making proteins. All right. The chloroplast, this is going to be something that's only in the plant cell. So only the plant cell is going to have chloroplasts. And the chloroplasts look like little stacks of coins or pancakes, which are these little membranes. And I always just remember that the pancakes are making a sugar. So kind of like a tree makes syrup, like a maple tree makes maple syrup. It's happening in the chloroplast. That's where the sugar is made. And so I think of them as like little green stacks of green pancakes making syrup. So we got the chloroplasts, little sugar factories, the site of photosynthesis, and what makes the plant green. The lysosomes, this is the recycling center of the cell. So we're gonna try to make these kind of burgundy or maroon, a little pirate color here. So here we have the lysosome. And these little dots in here are supposed to represent the enzymes. And that is just in the animal cell. The centrioles, I'm gonna add a little color to the inside of that. The centrioles are red. These are going to look a little bit like Twizzlers nibs. I don't know if you guys have ever had Twizzlers before, but they look a little bit like Twizzlers, and they are churros, and they're part of cell division. So they've got a role in cell division. So there we have the centrioles. The cytoskeleton, these different cells have cytoskeleton, and the cytoskeleton is just going to be the cells in our framework. And this is just showing a couple little lines, and we can add some to the plant cell. It's going to be a little bit more complex than that, but it's going to give the plant cell and the animal cell and all cells their structures, their shape, support that cell wall. The cilia are going to be these short hair-like projections that aid in movement. You have a lot of cilia in your respiratory tract and in your intestinal tract and part of hearing. So here's some cilia. Oops, and I didn't color in the cytoplasm over here. Let's get that over those ribosomes. Let's check. And then the flagella. So we also have the flagella here, and the flagella are these two things coming off of the bacteria. And flagella is a whip-like tail. It is used for movement. All right, so when you guys are looking at these structures, we've got a lot of different structures in the cell. The one thing that we didn't label, though, that you want to label is the central vacuole. So all cells have lots of vacuoles that are holding things, kind of like a storage unit. Might hold your Christmas decorations. But plants, they do photosynthesis. And so what they want to store is water. So in here we have water, and that water is being stored in that central vacuole. So let's label that on here. I need to edit this so we have it on there. So we have that central vacuole. All right, so 3 types of cells here. With those different cells, you can see some different structures in the animal cell versus the plant cell versus the bacteria cell. And hopefully your coloring looks a little bit better than mine. I just try to make it quick. But that helps you find things if you need to. And like I said, you can add labels to these structures as well. Hope you enjoyed coloring today. Have a wonderful Tuesday.